Welcome back to Before the Whistle, bringing you this week's college football breakdown.
First game we're going to talk about this week is number 19 Michigan and number 2 Penn State. Penn State's coming in this game with a 10-point line, and in my opinion, it's clear to see who the better team is in this matchup.
Definitely, this game has big Big Ten championship implications with Penn State and Michigan. Well, I know Michigan lost to Michigan State, but I mean, if they run the table, they're still in the Big
definitely.
Ten hunt as well as the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I think Penn State's really proved themselves this year with Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's just an absolute animal.
Right now, favorite to win the Heisman.
By far. And, I mean, I really could just see Penn State coming in here and beating Michigan pretty handily because if you look at who Michigan's played this year, their defenses haven't been that well.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Michigan earlier in the season, the first game they played Florida, and we found out that that was actually a really bad Florida team, but they still were able to get the win.
It was a struggle bus, but
their defense really played well in that game, and I'm interested to see if they'll be able to contain Barkley this weekend.
Yeah, and one thing I'm wondering is if Penn State were to lose this game, how detrimental would it be to the future of their season?
Well, I don't see them dropping out of the top 6 if they lose this because Michigan's a good team. They're 5-1, 19.
Debatable.
Because, I mean, if you look at Clemson, they lost to Syracuse, non-ranked team that's not very good, so they're going to drop farther.
Yeah,
Penn
but
State,
Clemson had also beaten Virginia Tech, Louisville, and Auburn. So, I mean,
yeah, but I mean, you look at Penn State. I mean, it's just you have to look at who they're playing, their matchups, and I do think that if Penn State happen to lose this game and they win out and they win the Big Ten, I do think they'll make it back in. But it won't. I don't think they'll be as confident as they were if they went undefeated all the way through.
Well, we all know that sometimes that early season loss or mid-season loss can be a blessing in disguise. I know Alabama have lost a few mid-season games and come back and win the national championship. Ohio State did it a few years back. So I think it could be a blessing in disguise. I just don't think so, though. Michigan, they just lost to Michigan State, who's not really good this year. So I think it would be very detrimental for Penn State to get a loss this weekend.
Yeah, they're definitely going to look at that and see Michigan's bad loss to Michigan State, and that's going to hurt them a lot if
Penn
they lose
State
the game.
definitely doesn't need to lose this week because not this week, but next week's game against Ohio State in Columbus has a lot more playoff implications than this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because that game really decides on which one of those teams gets in, if you think about it.
And honestly, I think this game shouldn't be that hard for Penn State. I mean, we know their defense is pretty good. And, I mean, they have Saquon Barkley, they have Trace McSorley. And who does Michigan have? John O'Korn? Is he going to kill? Is he going to beat Penn State by himself? I mean,
I think
John O'Korn couldn't even beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
I think they'll definitely cover the spread this weekend. I expect them to win by at least 10.
I think they'll win
More than that.
over 9.
At least 2-possession game. Another game to look out for this weekend is Tennessee versus Alabama, and the question is Butch Jones' fate already determined after this season?
Well, let me just say this:
100%.
This is going to be
determined 3 weeks ago.
This could possibly be a massacre. Tennessee, as we've seen this year, is just not up to par with anything they've been since Butch Jones came there. This is probably the worst season they've had
since 2007.
Yeah, just about. And Alabama this year is looking like I don't think the all-stars. You could take the best players from every team.
Looking at Alabama,
you can't
beat them. I'm not really just gonna hop on the Alabama bandwagon until I see them play a non-SEC opponent that's really good. Because I mean, they played Florida State, but after losing their starting quarterback,
Florida State is also kind of bad.
No,
well, he got injured in that game.
Yeah,
and
the first half.
So
they've just been.
Alabama's linebackers.
I mean, it was. Let's be honest. That game was a 2-3 score game before. Well, it turned a 3-score game after he went out. But I mean, it was a 1 to 2 score game while he was in there.
And I mean, Alabama. Yes, they've won by big margins this season, but from what I've seen, they've just been bullying weaker SEC opponents. So
the SEC.
I'm just gonna wait and see.
So you have to look. Towards the end of this season, when they start playing these better SEC teams, and then possibly the SEC championship when they play, Georgia is what it's looking like. That's really going to prove to everybody that how good Alabama is. I mean, yes, this past couple games they've just run through people, and it hasn't really even been a contest.
I don't think Georgia's going to even pose a threat to Alabama this year.
That's debatable.
That's going to be a better game than people think.
When you think about when you look at Butch Jones' career at Tennessee, and you look at what he was able to do. He was a really good recruiter, but he just doesn't have the coaching aspect.
He can't develop the players. And if you look at it...
And when you look at, Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M, I think it's different because Tennessee, they've won national championships and
Kevin
SEC
Sumlin doesn't
championships.
throw the ball 4
They're the
times
second
on the
winningest
goal line.
college
Exactly.
When he has one of the best running
in the
backs in the
SEC.
nation.
They expect to win. So I think Tennessee's going to be a lot quicker to fire their coach when he's a 9-win coach than someone like Texas A&M.
Yeah, especially the
Personally-
expectations put on him when they hired him.
Right. I think Butch Jones is done. I mean, Paul Feinbaum said last week that he spoke to someone that said when they lost to Georgia, they were pretty much going to start talking to John Gruden. I think it's over. I don't think he can turn around even if he sweeps, which he won't. And
No, not a chance.
they just need to start looking for a new coach.
They need to watch out.
You're
for
telling me
Vandy at this
if
point.
they beat Alabama and then win out the season, they would still fire him?
Well, they're not going to beat Alabama.
I'm just saying, you don't think
Even if he
definitely.
swept, even if he swept from
Definitely.
after that on.
Yeah, I don't even think
He
they'll
would still
beat
be
Vandy
You know
this
why?
year, so.
Because they're not going to beat Alabama.
Well, that's true.
why.
That was a very hypothetical.
That was very unlikely.